Hello guys, it's Hamid. Welcome to PA Talks episode 6. As you all know, PA Talks is an interview series with architects, and in this episode we interviewed Iranian architect Alireza Taghaboni. Alireza is a practicing architect, painter, and also founder of the Tehran-based practice called Next Office. His work ranges from single-family houses to residential, commercial, mixed-use large-scale complexes to urban master plans. Over the past decade, Alireza has won several prestigious national and international awards for architecture. One of Alireza's most recognized projects is Sharifi-ha house. This house is famous for its revolving rooms, which adapts to a shifting lifestyle. This house also demonstrates a critical take on building regulations and zoning bylaws. I hope you will enjoy this interview, guys. Thank you.
I was born in Tehran in 1977. I studied architecture in Iran, and 13 years that I established Next Office. The Sharifi-ha house was some kind of both and project. Means that we want two conditions in the main time. It was about uncertainty and flexibility, and it was about contradiction. We in Iran, we know our situation, know our condition, that it is very controversial situation. So many different opposing lifestyles exist together. So many groups, so many different thinking that they are opposed to each other. So always we think about how we can make these different situations, different conditions, make them productive. In Sharifi-ha house, we want full transparency and also full closeness together in the same time, in the same building. So we thought that how we can manage with turning boxes, how we can have these two conditions in the same time. And another thing was how we can transform a two-dimensional facade to a three-dimensional volume. How we can have a livable facade, a livable space that is our facade. You know, we don't have any facade here. We can say that we have a livable and operational facade. These two positions, we have references in our culture, in our architecture. For example, in north of Iran, we have buildings that has a core, enclosed core, and have a terrace around it in this way. And all the living and all the activity of life happens most of the time in this area. But in the central Iran, we have a closed area and a courtyard in the middle. So this is somehow reflect each other. We called it introverts and extroverts. And in many of our works, we deal with these two kinds of approach to the open space and closed space, and the connection between the closed space to the public parts of the city. In Sharifi-ha house, we choose that the building have these two characters together and transform this together from introverted to extrovert and many position in between. In the way that we have three parts: fix, void, fix, and when it is open, all of the attention and the connection from inside these areas is throughout, and if they turn, all the attention is through this void. So when it's open, we have an active terrace here. When it's closed, we have an active void here. This operable space results in a building this dual configuration and a gradient between full open and full closed, and between outside and inside through the balconies and through this main courtyard in the middle of the house. Guillaume House was a research for us to combine and integrate a structural diagram to the formal diagram and to the lifestyle diagram. This three diagram was very important for us, and we want with one thing we have these three together. We searched that how we can have also these two character of introvert and extrovert together. For example, these three half dome that are together and face to each other make the courtyard. This courtyard is a very introvert courtyard, and these three are the private part of the house. And these three that are behind each other are public part of the house. And also the seating of these three domes to these three domes, it was a research from we thought about chartagis and these volumes, because in some Iranian and other parts of we have a dome that sits two arches, and it was very interesting for us how we can put a dome beneath another dome and structurally match these together. So this is about how we can negotiate with the glass house with this this structure, and how we can combine this together. How we can use the this kind of glass house and combine them with this structural dome shapes. Sadra Center was a competition in one of the cities, new cities around Shiraz. It's very important. The new cities is kind of cities that people goes there for night and just for sleeping because they work in the main cities. And these cities are have very low quality of cultural and quality of life. Also with some massive project of social housing, very poor condition. We have many major problems because lack of infrastructures, lack of the space for people for living. Because of that, the new municipality of the city want to have some cultural project to improve the whole situation. And our site was located near one of these social housing named Maskan Mehr. So we thought about negative spaces. In Shiraz, many years ago, people lived in the central courtyard, and this courtyard was the main space. For example, it was the courtyard, very clear dimension, very perfect shape of a rectangular, and the shape of the house was, for example, very accidental because of the texture of the city. So this means that these kind of spaces was very important. The introversion, also the decoration of we have no facade in this area. The facade was inside, and the trees and the shape, the rectangular shape of the hose, the pool, and it was very important area for all people of the house, all the families of the house, that they goes there and live there. But this kind of social housing was some buildings without any shape, any different and exact design of the negative spaces. So we thought about some courtyards, from big to small, from more public to private, and think about how we can connect these courtyards together. So we reached to a kind of texture of the city. The project moves to be a little city, a little neighborhood, and we make different events to different yards, and the shape of the building was near the basic shape of cities in the middle of Iran. We always think that these cities and a thick ground. We have a thick ground. For example, this is the desert, and the city is some kind of like that. The skyline of the city is kind of like that, so you can always we think as the city as a thick ground, and we thought that with this texture around these connected, permeable, interconnected courtyards is very similar and also very different to the thick ground. And because of the poor condition of this area, we thought that the material could be with clay, and because we have some experience in clay in one unit, we thought, and because of these pixelated cells around these courtyards can build separately, so we thought that some local people can build this with main strategies and guidelines, and because of the logic of material formation of clay is somehow approximatal and not very exact, very clean, so the shape is somehow improvised, and this make this multi-function complex more similar to the city. And this project made a diverse alternative to this big social housing, and also compensates some lack of culture and infrastructural spaces. And this fluidity of the people that can penetrate all over this complex to in the middle and to the yards together. به دلیل از مشروطه به بعد، به دلیل این قشر روشنفکر متوسطی که تو ایران انباشت شده و خب نفتم باعثش شده بود که خیلی ها برن خارج درس بخونن، اینجا دانشگاهی بزرگ به وجود بیاد، و باز به واسطه نوع سیاستش که با دنیا در تعارض بوده و به شکلی از شکل‌های مختلف، باعث شده ما یه جامعه خیلی هتروژنس و خیلی متفاوت و خیلی پرتنش و خیلی متناقض داشته باشیم. لایف استایل های متناقض، تو خانواده جنریشن گپ های خیلی زیاد، میدونی توی خانواده دو جور تیپ میبینی، پدر و پسر، پدر مادر و دختر در یک تفاوت خیلی معناداری نسبت به قبل، یا توی خونه دو تا همسایه با هم دیگه در یک تضاد معناداری به هم به سر میرن، و این باعث میشه که بشه روی مسائل فوکوس کرد. حالا من مسئله‌ای که برام خیلی مهمه همین تضادهایی که توی این جامعه وجود داره. از طرف دیگه علاقه من به هنر، به نقاشی، به ادبیات، به ساختار و به اینکه به عاملیت هنر، اینکه هنر چقدر عاملیت داره، این دوتا در کنار هم دیگه باعث میشن که من به معماریایی فکر کنم که این تنش رو بتونن تو خودشون داشته باشن، یعنی این تنشن رو بتونن در خودشون نگه دارن، و این تنشن به شکلی از شکل‌ها خودش رو توی فضا، توی متریالیتی، توی شیوه ساخت، توی دیاگرام ها نشون بده. این پروژه حاصل همچین تنشیه، می‌دونی؟ تنشی که بین رابطه گذشته با آینده ایران وجود داره، بین تنشی که بین رابطه پرایوت پارت با پابلیک پارت قرار داره میدونی و انگار همه اینا این ارتباط بین گذشته و آینده، بین درونگرایی برونگرایی، بین اینکه ما هم میخوایم خیلی خیلی به قول معروف بسته باشیم از یک جهت‌هایی و در جهت‌های خیلی باز باشیم، همینا رو سعی می‌کنه تو خودش بارور کنه میدونید. و از این بابت این پروژه شریفی-ها دوگانه صفادش از این بابت‌ها مسئله فکر برای من دیگه. آره من میگم که اگه مثلا میخوای چه میدونم راجع به مدرسه میخوای طراحی کنی، تو بهتر اولا که تاریخش رو باید بدونی، نه مدرسه، تاریخ آموزش رو باید بدونی، تاریخ هنر رو باید بدونی، ولی خیلی هم دقیق به جامعه باید نگاه کنی که الان من برای کیا میخوام آموزش تو ایران چجوریه. مثلا آموزش تو ایران خیلی مرعوب کننده است، خیلی ضد تخیله، خیلی چیز حفظیه. اگه اینو دقت کنی شاید بتونی یه چیزایی بکشی ازش بیرون که بتونی تو معماری یه جوری کنی که این ذره متفاوت بشه و مدرسه آلترناتیو تولید کنی که دیگه اونقدر مرعوب کننده نباشه. متوجه هستی؟ یعنی از دل سیچویشن میشه یه چیزایی کشید بیرون که به درد بخوره.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this interview. I hope you get the most out of it. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit the button down below to subscribe. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Let me know what do you think about this interview. Just leave a comment down below. And thank you.